when we talk about intimacy and deep connection, girl, people run. They run for the, I'm not going to swear, but they run for the woods. They run for the woods.
So true.
And just myself recently, I would say in the last year, 18 months, and I want to have you to touch on this. I've started to hear the masculine and feminine energy. And I didn't realize that for the majority of my life, I was living in my masculine energy, and now I'm making an effort over the last year to move into my feminine, and it's amazing. So, can you speak to us about that yin and the yang?
Yeah, that's been a huge part of my own journey too. And I mean, why I am an intimacy expert has a lot to do with the fact that I felt really disconnected and didn't feel like I had any intimacy in my life. And a huge reason was because, when you have a lot of hard things happen in your life, you enter into survival, and survival plays in a masculine field. It's like, how much can I control? What's measurable? And how can I keep myself protected and safe? And so, I mean, I operated that way, and I came into my marriage and into motherhood just like that, like with my, teeth dug in and my nails dug in, and like I'm clawing the hill trying to get to the top of who knows what, like,
Right.
right?
I feel you. It was like, I felt like most of my life I've been in survival mode, not even realizing it. It's just we're conditioned that way. And
Yeah.
I didn't realize that as a woman, unconsciously, I had felt like I had to step into the masculine to achieve,
Yeah.
to succeed.
Yep.
And
And
it's
that pressure to do and produce is so, so high in our society. So when I actually, the way that I was introduced to the feminine was I was on a call with an energy healer, and all of that felt very weird to me because I wasn't raised with any of that stuff. Even being on the call was like, whoo. But then during the call, she was like, I can see this angel. And her name was Valley Spirit, which I found out later she's like a saint or kind of a deity sort of guide of some sort. I probably won't do it justice because I'm not Taoist, but in the Tao faith. And she said she's pacing back and forth and she's wringing her hands because she's so worried about you because you are so out of balance in your masculine energy. That was the first I had ever heard of it. And I was like, what?
right? I was like, okay, like when I've heard those things, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right. Like what? And then she's like, here's this book. You should read this book. And the first book I ever read about it, I got it and I was like 20 pages in, and I was like seething with each page. Like the deeper I got into this book and it was feminine and marriage, and really I don't super support this book, but it did help launch me on my journey. But this book in particular kind of has woven in some of the cultural aspects of feminine too. So it was a little bit housewifey, that kind of vibe. Anyway, I'm like 20 pages in, and I remember sitting in my apartment and I chucked the book across the room. Like, I'm not reading this thing. I hate it.
And what do you mean by like feminine as far as the house? What do you mean? Like what was the term?
So there's a difference between cultural feminine and feminine or yin energy. And we get them all convoluted all the time. Like, I can't tell you how often women will come to me, and I'll get women who will say, I love how you paint your nails, or like they want me to like teach them like girliness. And that's not at all what I do. Like, go to your salon. I don't know. I have a lot of that because I love that. Like, that's part of just me being in my play and my inner child and stuff. But that's not what true feminine energy is. True feminine energy is different. And it behooves us to ask ourselves, like, what is culturally seen as feminine and what is feminine energy? So yeah, different cultures have different like takes on what this means, but some pieces in this particular book that I see in kind of ingrained still in our society is like, the woman needs to cook all the meals. The woman needs to have the meals ready on time. The woman needs to be in charge of the house. The woman is the one that's primarily in charge of the nurture of the children. Like some of those things that actually are part of our cultural feminine. And we get to decide now, right? Like, I'm a woman. Do I want these things or not?
I'm getting uncomfortable because, and I write about this in my epilogue, well, that was me. That was me. That was like, go to work, be perfect, get the food on, like I'm getting emotional. Make sure the food's on the table, make sure the house is clean. And wow, like what self-sabotage. But I didn't realize it was self-sabotage. I was
Mhm.
like, I was being the good woman.
You were doing everything perfect. And then it's like we get to that point and we're like, okay, I'm doing everything perfectly. Why do I feel like I'm going to die on the inside?
Right? Why do I feel like that? And then why am I not getting shit back? Because I was doing it from a place of fear and lack.
Mm.
Fear
Mhm.
and lack instead of, the power of the feminine divine.